Hello, and welcome to a new series called You Have to Ask the Question. My name is Rabbi Ira Hill. For those who know me, I need no introduction. For those who don't, I am a Musmach of Rabbi Yochanan Zweig. I feel it's important to always know who is the Rebbe of anybody who's giving you Divrei Torah. It will help focus your attention and hopefully give credence that I'm just not making this stuff up. So, basically, the focus of this series, Torah series, is that I'm going to point out areas in the Torah or in Chazal that beg to ask a question. These are sometimes very straightforward, many times overlooked. Sometimes it's a focus of what is one of our Chazal Meforshim are actually trying to say. Tonight, this is the first in a series, hopefully, of many classes, is going to be on Pirkei Avos, the first parak of Pirkei Avos, which is very topical, seasonal, that we're doing right here before Shavuos. So, as Pirkei Avos begins, the very first Mishnah, and most of us know, it's a series of where is the Masorah. Moshe Kibul Torah Sinai passes along, etc., to Yeshua to the Zekanim to the Nevi'im, and the Nevi'im pass it on to the Anshe Knesset Gedolah. So, and after that, they say the Anshe Knesset Gedolah, they said three things, right? V'hayu misunim b'din, you should be careful with din. Hamidu talmidim harbe, and you shall try to have as many students as possible. V'asei sayeg l'Torah, and you should make a fence around the Torah in order to protect the Torah. Following Mishnah comes on is also a very famous Mishnah said by Shimon HaTzadik, who was from the end of the Anshe Knesset Gedolah, which then led on to the period known as the Zugos, where you had a number of Mishnayos that were said by the Nasi and the Rosh Av Bezdin, and that's the basic setup of the first parak of Pirkei Avos. So, Shimon HaTzadik, Haya Mishari Knesset Gedolah, he was from the last of the remnants of the Anshe Knesset Gedolah, Hu Haya Omer, he said the following thing, Al Shlosha Devarim HaOlam Omed, there are three things that the Torah stands on, and those things are, on Torah, Al Avoda, Al Gemilas Chasadim, is the study, is the Torah, is the justice of din, of Avoda, and an Gemilas Chasadim. Sounds like very important to start off. Pirkei Avos telling us where is the focus of this world. What is the world? What was the purpose of this world? It's for these three things: the Torah, Avodah, and Gemilas Chasadim. Very interesting. As the parak ends off, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel has another Mishnah. This is Mishnah Yud Ches, and he says the following: Al Shlosha Devarim HaOlam Omed. On three things the world is standing on Kiyam. Al Din, V'al Emes, V'al Shalom. And he quotes the pasuk Shinehma because it says Emes u'Mishpat Shalom Shiftu Bishar Rehem, that truthfulness and peaceful judgment you should judge in your gates. So he says that these three things. Now, the question is that what are they arguing? What are they arguing about? Does the world stand on Torah, Avodah, Gemilas Chasadim, or does it stand on Din, Emes, and Shalom? Now, many commentaries point out that these things are actually very similar, that these are really just different perspectives of the same items. Torah is referenced as many times as being Emes. Torah is Emes, and we know that one of the reasons is because through our Avos, that the Av of the Torah is also known as the Ish Emes, which would be Yaakov. Yitzchak, who is known as the Av of Avodah, is also the Av of Din, of justice. And the Av of Chesed is Abraham, but he also is the one who brought Shalom, and there are many references to that as well. So you see that Torah, Avodah, and Gemilas Chasadim parallel Shalom, Mishpat, and Emes. So the question is what's the need for having two Mishnahs that basically are saying the same thing? And what is the difference? It's possible to understand the following. is that if you look carefully at the reading of the Mishnah, in the very first Mishnah by Simon HaTzadik, it uses the world, there are three things that the world stands on. Meaning this is the foundation of the world, the reason for the world being created is for Torah, Avodah, and Gemilas Chasadim. And when something is a foundation, it's unchanging, it's set. However, right, opposed to the Mishnah in Yud Ches, where Reb Shimon ben Gamliel says there are three things that keep the world going, and which is Din, Emes, and Shalom. So, to illustrate this a little further, to understand what they're actually trying to say, is that if a person learns Torah, or he doesn't learn Torah, it doesn't affect the Torah. It doesn't change the Torah in any way at all. He's just not learning Torah. However, the world has its foundation of Torah. Same is true with Avodah. A person chooses to do Avodah, serve Hashem. He's working on the foundation, but if he doesn't do Avodah, he's not doing anything necessarily that affects the Avodah. He's just not doing the Avodah. And same thing with Gemilas Chasadim. If somebody is helpful and does Gemilas Chasadim, he is doing it. If he doesn't do it, he isn't necessarily doing anything wrong, or he doesn't affect the act of Chesed. He doesn't change what Gemilas Chasadim is and what it really means. However, by Emes, if a person is doing Emes, is he being truthful and honest, and that is Emes. However, as soon as he stops being honest, as soon as he stops pushing towards the truth, he immediately begins to lie. It's already a form of lying. It's already a form of sheker. Meaning, if you don't have conscious vigilance of keeping the truth, then the lies will now affect what we perceive as truth. Similar is with din. Din, if you're doing justice, you constantly have to make sure that you're doing justice, because as soon as you stop or change from doing actual justice, you are now doing injustice. It affects what we do. And certainly by Shalom, the same is true. If we don't constantly promote peace, take situations where we're creating and enhancing peace, we are creating machlokas, we are creating separation. So the first Mishnah is telling us what the world was designed for, that we should have in the world Torah, Avodah, and Gemilas Chasadim. And our actions do not affect these objects because these are given by Hashem, created by Hashem in a way where we cannot really affect it. However, how it is manifested in the world does take our involvement. And in order for the world to keep on going, we have to be constantly vigilant in order to promote Din, justice, Emes, truth, and Shalom. And these things are very hard to maintain, but it's something that we have to be constantly aware of what our actions are doing. If we're not doing the positive, we automatically start beginning to do the negative. We should all learn from this insight. I hope that we can now promote Emes, Mishpat, proper judgment, and Shalom between all of us, which is what Klal Yisrael truly needs in these days in order to help us bring to the Geula Shalema. Thank you very much.